Johnson, 3 seconds to shoot. Avery has it stripped away by Charlie Ward. Here come the Knicks. Sprewell.
Pretty powerful finish, and again it's done off a steal. That's 5 turnovers now for Avery Johnson in the ball game, and Latrell Sprewell just ignites this crowd. He takes off the powerful finish. See, those big guys aren't back on defense, Bob. When you can get out and run like that, you keep those shot blockers out of the game. New York needs more of that.
3-point play, 1-point game. Foul was on Jaren Jackson, his first.
Boy, just about the time it looks like New York's going to be knocked out of it, they fight back. We've seen this the entire series.
8 straight Knickerbocker points. Duncan can't put a stop to it. The rebound to Sprewell. Weaving his way through a whole pack of Spurs and finally giving it up to Ward, but not for long.
Showing tremendous courage, their energy, their defense is lifted right now. San Antonio playing a half-court game.
10-0 New York run. Mario Elie sets on 3 and a big one for San Antonio.
Wow, that quiets the crowd right there. Goes from now a 1-point deficit up 2. Mario Elie, we've seen him do that so very often in playoffs. Big shots when he was with Houston and they won championships.
Houston shoots over Elie. Can't tie it. Robinson got good position but couldn't score. Sprewell, who seems to be everywhere, grabs the rebound, brings it up, pops the shot, ties the game.
This guy's unbelievable. When he gets on one of those rolls, he might make 6 in a row, and then miss his next 8 shots. But Camby's doing a great job on David Robinson, challenging every shot in the low post.
50-50, and San Antonio loses it. Here comes Charlie Ward all the way. Knicks have the lead.
New York wants to run, but to do it, they have to defend. Charlie Ward gets a great steal, throws it ahead, and Sprewell, this was the 3-point play. Look at the eyes as he goes to the basket. Then Latrell Sprewell once again on that baseline. He's everywhere right now. Larry Johnson finds him. Who's guarding this man? You've got to get close to him. And once again, Latrell Sprewell comes off the screen and roll. The big man slow getting there, and Latrell Sprewell pulling up and knocking the shot down. But the defense has been able to trigger this entire thing. And then Charlie Ward finishes it off with a terrific run here that's given New York a 2-point lead. Ward with a layup. The lane parts. San Antonio has to call timeout. The Knicks are surging.
Mario Elie looked like he got caught between. He didn't know whether to go to Ward or stay with his own man Houston, who was on the wing.
Well, you know what I do in that situation? I make Ward score because you don't want to let Houston get a layup, Bob. So you go to a guy who's not a threat offensively. You try to keep Allen Houston as quiet as possible.
This is Spike Lee going at it with Mario Elie, who is this year's substitute for Reggie Miller. And Elie will jaw a little bit now.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a little bit more convivial than Reggie and Spike.
Meanwhile, play is stalled because there's a clock problem above the hoop that the Spurs are shooting at. It's gone blank. Joey Crawford, the official, talking with Popovich and Van Gundy. In this third quarter, after 8.5 minutes, Neither Duncan nor Robinson has scored.
Well, because they're not being able to get the ball in the positions they want, and San Antonio is turning the ball over.
I think they're deciding to play on with one of the clocks above the baskets out.
See, the one thing, though, this is a little disadvantage right now for San Antonio. They have no shot clock, and the Knicks do. So the Knicks on offense are going to know what the clock is. San Antonio's not. I don't know if Greg Popovich is talking to him, and he's going to say, you're going to have to make an announcement to let us know how much time. And so you'll probably hear it at 10 and then at 5, so San Antonio understands how much time they have to shoot.
We'll see how reliable the Knick personnel
yeah, would you like to depend on them
along center court is?
In an elimination game? Yeah, okay.
Is there any other place besides the 24? No. That's the only place? That's the only place.
Popovich is right, but how long can we wait? Now, Popovich is asking for them to turn them both off.
I would ask for the same thing because it's a major advantage.
What are you going to do? I want to go get some boxes.
See, he wants them to go get the shot clocks and put them down in the corner. The ones that we used to play with before the shot clocks went above the basket, they would put it over in each corner so you could see it.
Do me a favor. You got clocks in the back. Go get them, all right?
Here, Joey, do me a favor. You got clocks in the back? Go get them.
But you know what? Popovich is right. Even though this is going to be a delay, you know, he doesn't want to. Right now, New York is on a great run. This hurts them now to have to go over and sit down. They got it rolling right now.
So how much is this argument truly about the clock, and how much is a ploy by Popovich to slow the Knicks' momentum?
I think it's a little of both, but I will tell you right now, Bob, it's a tremendous advantage to have that shot clock on your basket and not.
And as they try to straighten things out, we'll step aside for just a moment. Back to Madison Square Garden and Game 5 of the Finals after this.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. I'm Jim Gray. They are now trying to install on each end of the court shot clocks that they have in reserve. As you can now see on the end where the San Antonio Spurs will be shooting, that clock has been installed. Now the Knicks wanted to continue on the regular shot clock on the other end. However, Joey Crawford has determined that both clocks on the floor have to be used, and now they are both in place. That clock that you see right there will be turned off. Bob?
All right, so I guess it's fair for both sides. Let's go to the promo material, shall we? Join NBC tomorrow as the world's best tennis players gather at the All England Club for the world's most prestigious championship, Wimbledon. Featured in tomorrow's coverage will be ladies' and gentlemen's third-round matches, featuring Andre Agassi as he continues his quest for a second Wimbledon crown. That's the Championships Wimbledon tomorrow at 1 Eastern here on NBC.
I guess John McEnroe made it back from the game the other night.
Yeah, he was here for Game 4. He actually played mixed doubles with Steffi Graf today, I'm told, and won.
I tried to hit you with a curveball, and you still, Bob, had the answer. I couldn't stump you there. I knew it.
Now, just to be clear, they won their first match.
Oh, okay.
They didn't win the title. I guess the Concorde changes everything, though. No jet lag. Get there in less than 4 hours. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Bob. Greg Popovich now is arguing the fact that if they have to use one on the floor, they want the Knicks to use one on the floor. So there's some question as to whether or not the Knicks will use the one over the basket or on the floor. Hey, Joe, are you using the one up there? Are you using that one? This one? The Knicks will use the one on the basket. The Spurs will use the one on the floor. Back to you, Bob.
Now, Popovich's argument, no doubt, was turn off the one over the Knicks basket and let us both use one in the old NBA style from years and years ago in the corner.
Well, Bob, you know how you get trained all of a sudden with that shot clock is. Now they're going to have to try to locate it on the floor. That's very unnatural for them right now.
The delay was more than 8 minutes in actual time. Jaren Jackson looking for Tim Duncan. Duncan Duncan out to Ellie. Set shot. Short. Bounces back to him. I'll tell you one thing. Where they place the 24-second clock, I can't see it.
I was going to say the same thing.
It's out of our view. Here's Duncan. Stumbling to the floor. Might have been tripped. Apparently he was. It's on Larry Johnson, his fourth. Back to the Garden after this.
All right, as we're back here at Madison Square Garden, I'm Jim Gray. The discussion is still about the shot clock. The San Antonio Spurs want the shot clock added to the other end of the floor where the Knicks are shooting. They feel it's an unfair advantage for the Knicks to be able to locate the clock exactly where it is all the time, and a disadvantage for them to have it down on the court. The people at Madison Square Garden now will wheel the shot clock back out. It has been determined. Greg Popovich said he really didn't think it was fair to continue. Joey Crawford said it's fair for now. We will continue until we get it hooked up. When we get it hooked up, that's exactly when we'll put it on. I'm not trying to be unfair to anybody. Bob?
And at that point, they'll turn off the clock above the Knicks basket. We play on. Robinson out of the double to Jackson, who's feeling it, but not this time. Line drive rebound taken on a hop by Houston. He leads Sprewell. Back to Houston around Elliott. Here's his jumper going. Houston has 16. Duncan double team, scores anyway, plus the foul.
Allen Houston is doing a wonderful job. This little pull-up jump shot, we've seen it the entire series. Realizes one more dribble, he gets himself in trouble because David Robinson is standing there. And Bob, in this last possession, when Tim Duncan scored, he and Robinson were 0 for 6 in this quarter, so that's his first field goal. His and Robinson's first 3 points of the quarter. They now trail by 1.
Three-point play after Kurt Thomas's third foul. Inside 2 minutes to play in the third. Latrell Sprewell. They had him surrounded. He scored anyway.
Well, he's one of those guys, it doesn't matter. You could put 2 guys on him. When he starts getting this kind of energetic run, you just got to hope that he cools off.
He's got 19, 9 of them in this period.
So look at that clock get down against him right now. This is where San Antonio gets themselves in trouble. Start standing around.
5 seconds to shoot. Duncan will. And he banks it home from long range.
I guess you can stand around, but when you got that guy, he sort of erases any kind of trouble you get yourself into. 5 straight points by Duncan now.
Here's Houston into the lane, but he travels. It is not fair or accurate to compare anyone to Michael Jordan. But remember how, when the Bulls' offense, sophisticated as it was, bogged down, you could always just go to Michael. That's sort of the case here.
But what Kurt Thomas has got to do with that clock wound down, he's got to make him put that ball on the floor. That's his shot. Now he's got to crowd him. There you go. Now get help from the weak side.
But don't foul him.
That's right.
It's Thomas's fourth. Coverage of the WNBA returns to NBC tomorrow. The Phoenix Mercury against the Detroit Shock. Michelle Timms and the Mercury looking to build upon last year's success as they face Corey Holiday and the Shock. WNBA on NBC tomorrow at 4 Eastern Time. Duncan has shot free throws extremely well in this final.
Well, you see the first time in the finals, it was Michael's 7th season. He averaged a little over 31. It's Duncan's second. He's averaging a little over 26. So these guys obviously are the main men. And once again, Spurs have taken the advantage by 1. Bob, I think with all the run and everything that New York has done, they need to give a lead here going into this 4th period. 23
for Duncan. San Antonio by 1. Sprewell gets his man off his feet and scores again. Sprewell is 5 for 5 in this quarter. Sean Elliott deals to Malik Rose, and there's a New York foul. If it's Thomas, it's his 5th, and it is.
Watch this up and under fake here by Sprewell. He's been hitting every shot. Sean Elliott becomes a member of the Paratrooper Club there when he tries to go for that block. And Sprewell says, I'm not there anymore. I'm going to hit the little jumper.
Thomas out with the 5 fouls. Chris Dudley back. And Rose misses. Kurt Thomas, who had been a demon on the boards through the first 3 games, had only 2 rebounds in 19 minutes of Game 4, has 3 rebounds and 5 fouls in 19 minutes to this point in Game 5.
Well, they need him out there because he can make that little medium-range jump shot. And we know Dudley's a good defender, but he struggles on the offensive end.
Tie game at 58.
Now, the reason Antonio Daniels is in the game and not Steve Kerr is because with all the pressure in the backcourt, he's their second-best ball handler, and he can get them into their offense. Kerr cannot do that.
Sprewell, scorching hot. Doesn't stay that way. Dudley rebounds, but before he can put it back in, a loose ball foul on him. His 2nd.
You know, most guys who expend this kind of energy in this kind of quarter with Sprewell, you think fatigue could be a factor, Bob. This guy, fatigue is not going to be a factor as Dudley gets the push in the back. But this guy's not even breathing. I mean, he says, get me the ball. We got 10 seconds to go. I'll get us another basket here when we go in this 4th period. Chris Dudley's going to come over the back here. Watch his left arm there. That's a little bit of a touch foul. And a nice
that's not
little,
much.
No, and but you know, a nice acting job there for Duncan. It's only taken his 2nd year to realize that he's a star. Flop a little bit, maybe you'll get that call.
No wonder Van Gundy had that pained expression on his face. 2nd one spills off. Spurs by 1. Last 4 seconds. Houston gets into the lane. Deals it out to Camby. Beats the buzzer, but misses. A 1-point game and 12 minutes to decide it.
Well, it looked like that quarter was slipping away. A 9-0 run to get it started. Latrell Sprewell kept his team alive. 11 points. They trailed by only 1.
For the Spurs, 12 minutes to a title. For the Knicks, 12 minutes to book a flight to San Antonio.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game, without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association, is prohibited.
Familiar faces among the 19,763 at the Garden include Tim Hutton, Soon Yi and Woody. They're regulars. Matt Dillon is here. Rick Moranis on hand. He was part of the championship teams in 70 and 73. Bill Bradley. Billy Crystal here as always. A bevy of Bills. Billy Baldwin is here. And the always understated Macho Camacho, tastefully attired Matthew Modine cheering the Knicks on. San Antonio up by 1 and with the ball now. Jaren Jackson, little double pump attempt that's no good. Houston has it. Both corner clocks are on now. Here's Sprewell on his game, but Duncan gets there to block it. Spree tried to save it, but into Rose's hands. Back comes San Antonio. Antonio Daniels getting some minutes now at the start of the 4th. The clocks above each basket are off, and the corner clocks, which have been rolled onto the floor, are on. Duncan spins and hits off the glass. He's almost too good.
How good is that? The spin off the glass looked like he didn't know where he was, but if I am New York right now with David Robinson out of the game, I get that ball out of Duncan's hands. You can't let him beat you right now. Make somebody else shoot the ball.
26 for Duncan, just about his finals average. And a San Antonio foul.
But what I'm talking about, he's isolated right here. Run somebody in from behind him. You know he's going to spin. New York is too late getting there. Sprewell, and look at that shot, one-handed off the glass to give the Spurs a 3-point lead. New York offensive efficiency vital here in this fourth quarter. No empty trips.
Sprewell lays it in.
See, Sean Elliott has not been a part of their offense tonight, and as a result, defensively, Sprewell is just going at him. He's alive with energy. Sean Elliott, they need him in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, Elliott's next basket will be his first. Duncan looking for Elliott, but it's off his hands, and Larry Johnson takes it. Sprewell gets the Knicks the line, and will come to the line.
You never want to foul a jump shooter. Sprewell, this is the shot you want him to take right here, the little pull-up. Malik Rose hits him on the wrist. The follow-through in the three-point play. Avery Johnson's going to come back into the ball game because they need to be able to get into their offense. How much more time can Popovich buy before he brings David Robinson back in the game? He's been a good rest right now into the third quarter to start the fourth. New York back up by 2.
Sprewell with 26, matching Duncan's total. Duncan has scored 10 of the Spurs' last 11 points.
Well, they got to be careful, Bob, not to have him do it all right now. If he needs some help.
Or does he?
Wow. Wow. See, I still think as much as Jeff Van Gundy doesn't want to double team right now, you've got to get Duncan out of his game and make Antonio Daniels or somebody make a shot.
Sprewell, double-teamed, illegal defense. Illegal defense against the Spurs. That's the first call against them.
I guess it's a pretty good weapon right here. Tim Duncan, when you need a basket, you go away from the double team. Dudley with great defense. Just a high-arching jump hook. Tim Duncan keeping his team in the game.
New York's Twin Towers in the nighttime sky. San Antonio's Twin Towers inside the Garden have combined for 38 points, 18 rebounds, 2 blocks.
David Robinson back after a nice little rest. More importantly, only 3.5 game minutes, but got almost a 15-minute rest. He'll be fresh for the finish.
Here's Houston. Duncan is on him. 10 seconds to shoot. Allen Houston misses on the run. Ellie with the rebound. San Antonio looking to snap the tie. Robinson just back in. Tim Duncan from beyond the head of the key. This time he can't get it done.
Knicks need to keep running. They don't want to set up right now. That'll play into San Antonio's hands. Get something quickly.
Sprewell. When you feel it, why not? He's not really a three-point shooter, but tonight, anything goes.
Bob, if you touched him right now, he would shock you. All the electricity running through this guy's body right now tonight. He has been absolutely tremendous. Early offense. That's what you have to do against San Antonio. And who better than Latrell Sprewell? You lay off of him. He's not a three-point shooter. Well, tonight, he's shooting them from everywhere.
29 for Spree. All Ewing can do is cheer, but he can do it mightily.
Well, Latrell Sprewell has been the man tonight for New York. When they needed it most, you see he scored the last 12 points to give his team a three-point lead, and he's done it all over the floor. The little up and under, where did it go? Jump shot. The layup over Tim Duncan. The step-back jumper, he's fouled in the three-point play over Malik Rose, and then he pulls back and shoots the three to give his team a three-point lead. Only 3 of 24 in the playoff before that three. You see Sprewell 8 of 11 in the second half. And Bob, how about these numbers? 29 points, 8 of 12 free throws, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals for Latrell Sprewell.
There are 10 players on the floor, but for the last several minutes, it's been Sprewell and Duncan. Spree with the last 12 Knick points, Duncan with 12 of the Spurs' last 13, and a foul on Chris Dudley, his third.
Which man is going to get some help, though, Bob? Because you know eventually somebody else is going to have to come through. Who's going to be the wild card? Will it be Houston, Robinson? Who will it be?
Duncan again, and the same result.
See, he's getting so deep in that post. I think Jeff Van Gundy is going to have to give a little help. That's too easy there.
30 points now for Tim Duncan. Houston to Sprewell. Turns, pops, hits.
You know what this reminds me of? Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins. Who missed first? Dominique and Bird won. What a game that was.
One of the great duels in the history of the NBA.